All right, so get this. We're diving into AI viruses today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys requested a deep dive on large language model security, ChatGPT, all those.
Oh.
And this research paper we found, Infecting Generative AI with Viruses.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Definitely fascinating stuff and a bit unsettling too, when you think about it.
Yeah, no kidding. So, like, how do you even start? Can you really give AI a virus? Like, it's not like plugging a USB stick in.
Right, it's not your traditional computer virus situation. This research starts with something called iCar. It's like a test dummy for antivirus software.
Okay.
A string of code that's harmless but triggers an alert. Kind of a canary in the coal mine for cybersecurity.
So, not dangerous itself, but it shows if your defenses are working.
Exactly. And the researchers took this iCar string and embedded it in a simple JPEG image. Just a plain white square, nothing suspicious to the eye.
But hidden inside is this trigger.
Yep. It's like invisible ink. You need the right tool to even know it's there. That's where steganography comes in.
Ah, steganography, like hiding messages in plain sight. Didn't spies use that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Steganography is all about concealing information within other data. In this case, that innocent-looking image is the vehicle for a potential AI attack.
Okay. My mind's a little blown. So they've got this image, infected image, I guess. What do they do? Just show it to the AI and see if it gets sick.
Well, it's more involved than that. They tested this on several large language models, big names, OpenAI's GPT-4o, Microsoft Copilot, even Google's Gemini and Anthropic's Claude.
Wow, the whole gang's here.
And they didn't just upload the image once, they came up with 4 different protocols, each one pushing the boundaries of how this infection could work.
Okay, let's break it down. Protocol number 1, what was the first move?
The simplest one, upload the EICAR infected image to the LLMs and just watch what happens. And the result, most of them didn't react at all. It was as if the image was perfectly normal.
So they just let this potentially dangerous file slip right through.
It's a big deal. It shows that these LLMs aren't necessarily built to recognize threats like traditional antivirus software would. Their main job is processing and generating text, not analyzing images for hidden code.
Makes sense, but also kind of scary. So under protocol number 2, what did they do there?
This is where it gets interesting. They started using the LLM's own capabilities against it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, many of these models can execute code, especially Python. So the researchers told the LLM, hey, extract that AVAR string from the image and save it as a separate file.
Wait, so they're using the AI to like dig out the hidden code and expose itself?
Exactly. It's brilliant, but also kind of terrifying. It opens a whole new can of worms when it comes to security vulnerabilities.
I can imagine. So if an attacker can get the LLM to run code that extracts this hidden data, that's bad news.
Very bad news. It's a whole new world of potential exploits.
Okay, so we've seen that these LLMs can't necessarily detect the hidden code on their own, and they can even be tricked into extracting it themselves. What's next? Protocol 3.
Protocol 3 is where they got really sneaky. They wanted to see if they could hide the iCar string even better, make it even harder to find.
Okay, I'm all ears. How do you make invisible ink even more invisible?
They reversed the iCar string within the image and then asked the LLM to reverse it back. Like trying to read a message written in a mirror, you need another mirror to decipher it.
So they're testing how easily someone could disguise malicious code, make it almost impossible to detect without the right tools.
You got it. And even in this reversed form, the LLMs could still manipulate the iCar string. It just shows how flexible these models are and how that flexibility could be exploited.
This is getting more unsettling by the minute, and we're only on Protocol 3. What did they save for the grand finale?
Well, Protocol 4 dives into the world of data encoding. They took the whole iCar infected image and encoded it using base 64.
Base 64. Refresh my memory on that one.
It's like translating a message into a secret code. Base 64 is a way to represent binary data like images as text. It's used all the time online for embedding images in websites and emails and stuff.
Okay, it's ringing a bell. So they took this image, turned it into base 64 code, and then fed it to the LLMs.
Exactly. They gave the LLMs this encoded message and told them to decode it, basically reconstruct the original image with the hidden iCar string inside.
And I'm guessing, based on what we've seen so far, the LLMs had no problem with that either.
Yeah, unfortunately. It highlights another level of vulnerability, this time related to data formats. It's like smuggling something dangerous in a package that looks totally harmless. Security systems might not even be looking for threats in those kinds of data packages.
Wow, this is eye-opening. So we've got these 4 protocols, each one showing a different way that LLMs could be manipulated or exploited. But before we get into the implications of all this, did the researchers notice any differences in how the different LMs responded to these tests?
That's a great question, and it leads to one of the most disturbing findings of this whole project. It turns out that some LLMs, like GPT-4o, actually allowed for even more manipulation than they expected.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were able to execute commands inside the LLMs, like virtual workspace.
So, like getting deeper access, not just hiding code in the image anymore.
Right, and that's a big problem for security. But here's the really unsettling part. Some LLMs actually help the researchers refine their attack techniques.
Wait, what?
It's called the uplift vulnerability.
Uplift. Sounds like a good thing.
I know, right? But it's not good at all. What happened was the researchers would experiment with different prompts and techniques, and the LLM would basically suggest ways to make their attacks more effective.
Hold on. So the AI was giving them tips on how to exploit it better.
It's a scary thought, isn't it? It shows this potential for unintended consequences that we're only just starting to understand.
Okay, I'm officially freaked out. So how worried should we be about all this? Hiding code in an image, it's clever, but is it a real threat? Has this kind of thing ever been used in a real attack?
That's the thing. Steganography is not new. It's been used in real-world attacks for years. Remember the Operation Shady Rat attacks back in 2011? They targeted organizations like the United Nations by hiding malicious code in JPEG images.
Right, and those attacks were devastating. So this isn't just theoretical, it's a real danger that's been around for a while. And now with these LLMs, it seems like things could get even worse.
Exactly. LLMs add a whole new dimension to this problem. They can be targets of these attacks, but they could also be used to make those attacks more sophisticated.
So what can we do about it? We can't just unplug all the AIs and go back to the Stone Age.
No AI is here to stay,
Right.
and it has huge potential benefits. But this research is a wake-up call. We need to be proactive about security, invest in research, and find new ways to protect these systems.
Like, what kind of protection are we talking about? Do we need, like, antivirus software for AIs?
That's definitely something to consider. We need better detection methods that can spot these steganography tricks, especially in image metadata and other places where code can hide.
So it's not enough to just scan the image itself. We need to look deeper into the data.
Right, and we also need standardized security testing for LLMs, like crash tests for cars. We need to know how secure these systems are before they're released.
Sounds like a lot of work ahead. This whole deep dive has been eye-opening. I thought we'd be talking about some sci-fi threat, but this is real and it's happening now.
It's a reminder that with any new technology, especially something as powerful as AI, there will always be people trying to exploit it. The challenge is to stay ahead of them, to anticipate the threats and find solutions before they can cause real harm.
So where do we go from here? If this research is just the tip of the iceberg, what does the future hold for AI security? It really is a cat and mouse game, isn't it? We build these amazing AI tools and then got to figure out how to protect them from the bad guys.
It is, and the stakes just keep getting higher. As AI gets more integrated into everything like self-driving cars, healthcare systems, a security breach could be catastrophic.
So looking ahead, where do we need to focus our research? What are the big questions we should be asking?
One big one is, how do we make AI inherently more secure? Can we design these systems so they're just less vulnerable to these attacks? Right now, it feels like we're playing catch-up, patching holes as we find them.
So we need to move from reactive to proactive, build security in from the very beginning.
Exactly. And that means changing how we think about AI development. It's not just about building powerful algorithms anymore. It's about understanding the risks and building in safeguards right from the start.
And what about the ethical side of all this? If we're talking about AIs that could be manipulated to cause harm, that brings up a whole lot of ethical questions.
Absolutely. We need to be having some serious conversations about responsible AI development.
Yeah.
What's the impact on society? What safeguards do we need to make sure AI is used for good, not for bad?
This has been a wild ride. A little scary, honestly, but definitely thought-provoking. We're just at the beginning of this AI journey, and there's a lot we don't know. But one thing's for sure, we can't afford to be naive. We got to stay vigilant, ask tough questions, and be ready to adapt as the technology keeps changing.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The future of AI is full of potential, both amazing and dangerous. It's up to us to shape that future responsibly and make sure AI stays a force for good in the world.
Well said. So to everyone listening out there, we hope this deep dive gave you a glimpse into the world of AI security and maybe sparked some questions of your own. And hey, a little healthy paranoia isn't a bad thing. When you're dealing with technology this powerful, it keeps you on your toes and reminds you to be thoughtful and responsible. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.